Hi there, my name's Anna and welcome back to my art channel. So in today's video, I'm finally going to show you what I did for the month of October, my sketchbook for the 31-day challenge. And I was working in this little square Arteza sketchbook. I used it for some of my sketches last year also, might show them to you in the end. But first of all, I'll show you what I did this year for the Inktober challenge. So if you don't know Inktober, it's a yearly challenge or a monthly challenge. You draw one sketch or drawing a day using ink. Basically, you're working in black and white, doing possibly line art. I sometimes also use a paintbrush or a dip pen to do some drawing and painting with black ink. And yeah, it's just a nice challenge to try and do one drawing every day. I did not managed to complete it all the way through this year. I managed, I think, 28 days, but I think that's still very good and it's a great practice. Yeah, but you can get a little bit tired of just drawing in black and white, so that was maybe one reason why I didn't quite complete the challenge. In any case, let's start with what I drew this year. So I didn't go by any prompt list. I just decided to draw things that inspired me or that I just felt like drawing, just to make it easier. And I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to possibly draw throughout the month, so I didn't have to think too much. I also downloaded some reference photos before the fact, and yeah, I tried to stick with things that were kind of autumn themed or Halloween themed, magical, something in that direction more or less for all of those references. And yeah, I started with this cute little sketch of these two cute little owls. I think they're so sweet, cuddling up to each other here. And I used a fine liner to draw them. Of course, I did a pencil sketch first, but yeah, then I used a fine liner to draw them and to shade them a little bit. Yeah, and just practicing using that cross hatching technique to get a little bit of shading or just hatching in some areas. Yeah, and then here for day 2, I drew a little portrait drawing, and she's meant to be a magical girl, a witch of some sort. You can see she has some stars on her face and a little moon and magical jewelry. So yeah, I enjoyed doing that, and I used black ink and the paintbrush to do some shading and to do her hair. Yeah, and beforehand I used a fine liner for the outlines. This year was a little still life I did for myself, and yeah, I used a decorative dagger that I've had since a long time, and this little pendant, this yeah, what you call it, I don't know, and amethyst that I got as a present when I was a teenager. I really like precious stones or semi-precious stones. I have a little bit of a collection there. Anyway, I enjoyed drawing that. Obviously, I find it a little bit harder to draw from life, even if whatever I'm drawing isn't moving, because I'm moving. It's easier to draw from a photo, that's for certain. But it was good practice, and I like the way it turned out. And yeah, I like the objects that I drew. Yeah, for day 4, I decided to draw some potions or poisons, and I kind of pieced this together from different references and just kind of made it up a little bit, adding some tags and some plants to make it a little bit more magical. And yeah, I'm also quite pleased with how that turned out. Yeah, here I have a cute little deer. And yeah, I think he turned out really cute as well. Yeah, very pleased with that one. And here I drew another crystal. This time it's being held by a hand, so I got to practice hands as well. And yeah, I don't know if the hand turned out perfectly, but it was certainly good practice. Don't know if it looks weird because the thumb is on the other side of the crystal, but I think you can tell that's the way it's meant to be. And here for something spooky, I drew a snake, and I really like also how this one turned out. Yeah, I've done some snakes this year. I think this is my 3rd one, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how that one turned out as well. I think that one and the deer are my favorites so far, which is no surprise because I love drawing animals, it seems. Yeah, here I think this was the first time I actually drew a skull, or at least an animal skull. Yeah, and it was the first day where I decided to add a little bit of color as well because I was getting tired of the black and white. Yeah, I think it turned out nice. And here's a little mushroom. I also used some watercolor here to add a little pop of color. I couldn't help myself. I stopped writing the days on these at some stage just because maybe I thought it took away from the drawing. I don't know. Yeah, so what day would this be? 8, 9, so this would be day 10. And I drew this little fox, and I think he turned out really cute as well. Not exactly like the original. He looks a little bit more sad, and the eyes look a little bit more human, I think. But he's really cute as well. Yeah, I like drawing owls. I already did an owl for day 1, and I decided to do another owl because obviously that's something that you can draw around Halloween, right? I don't like the way this one turned out as much, and I added some colors to the background just to give it a bit of something more. Yeah, the paper that I'm using is on some pages, it's not so great and can suck the color up very much, and you can kind of see it here how the colors, these are watercolors, they're kind of a bit dull on this page, and it doesn't happen with each of these pages. Yeah, I also had that issue with the ink. Ink will dry a lot faster than watercolor, and you cannot lift it at all once it's kind of sunk into the paper. And with other paper where the paper doesn't suck the paint as much, you have a better chance of moving the black ink around a little bit before it sets and dries, but not so with this paper. So that was something I had to work around. And here I drew a vulture, so another bird. I think maybe because I thought it looked a bit scary or, you know, grumpy. And yeah, I like the way he turned out. I think I used a dip pen for him, either that or fine liner. I think it was a dip pen though. I'll show you. This was the one that I used probably, if I used a dip pen. And yeah. So here I decided to draw an abandoned house. Possibly it's a haunted house, who knows? And yeah, that was a lot of work. Drawing buildings is always, I don't know, more complicated than I expect. Yeah, with all the little details and windows, it takes its time. I actually used a ruler for some of the structures because, yeah, architecture, straight lines and all of that, I can't draw them per hand. I don't think most people can't. So a bit of ruler work in there as well. And here I have some hands holding a pumpkin, and I think this turned out nice. There's not a ton of contrast in here because there wasn't in the reference photo either, but yeah, I like the composition, and the hands turned out fine, I think, and it's nice. Yeah, I wanted to draw a clock, and this is kind of a pocket, well, this is a pocket watch, I think. And yeah, I looked for a reference. This one kind of appealed to me, and then I drew it, and it was a little bit complicated with all of the little intricate designs here. I might have had to move things around a little bit because it didn't pan out exactly the way it should have. But yeah, it's nice. And some more hands here holding a candle. I also like this a lot because of the light, you know, the candle light. I think the way it illuminated the hand, that was nice on the reference, and I liked the way I captured it in my drawing. Here's a little cat walking along some train tracks, I think. And there was a little autumn background. There were leaves on the ground in the reference, so I thought it would be fitting, and cats and Halloween go well. I'm not as pleased in how this turned out, but it's fine. And here I decided to draw some mushrooms, and yeah, I like drawing botanical subject matter as well. I enjoyed this. And here I drew a little Siamese cat. And I used my dip pen for this, so I did all the shading with a dip pen. I didn't use a paintbrush at all, I think. And I like this one more than the other cat. And then I did add a little bit of blue for the eyes. And my third owl painting for this month of October. And yeah, I like this one better than the second one, but the first one's still my favorite. And yeah, I also added some color to the eyes in this. Here I just was feeling like drawing some autumn landscapes, and I mean, you know, it's difficult using black and white, but I tried and it turned out okay, I think. I actually used watercolor for this because I was doing it at work and, you know, I can't be bothered taking my ink with me. That would have been a mess. Yeah, I used some black watercolor and some fine liners here and there. So yeah, that's a black and white landscape for you. And yeah, this one obviously is a jellyfish painting or drawing, and hasn't really anything to do with autumn or Halloween, but yeah, I felt like drawing it, so I did. Yeah, another portrait. There's nothing here really to suggest that she's a witch or something along those lines, but whatever. She looked a bit grumpy in the original reference photo, so I thought I could make something out of it. In the end, it's just a girl with a red jumper, black and white girl with a red jumper, but she turned out nice anyway. And yeah, when it gets cooler and the autumn and winter season comes along, I oftentimes will feel like drawing stags. Maybe not even always in the winter time. I've drawn them in the summer before too, I'm sure. Anyway, this is a little stag sketch. I never really finished this one, but I think you can still tell what it is. I ran out of time on that day, and I wanted to finish it afterwards, and obviously I never did. I think still it looks cute. Maybe I'll finish it yet. And yeah, here I used a reference of some decorative pumpkins and just kind of sketched it out and added some shading with my black India ink. Oh, this must be day 28 where I stopped. That was maybe not the best drawing to end this series with, but I ran out of time. I had appointments and I didn't have time to do enough drawings in advance, and yeah, then the month was more or less over. I probably would have had time on the 31st possibly to do a little bit of drawing, but I guess I was burnt out at that point to do drawing. I actually did another painting of these using gouache and colour, so I can also show you that possibly if I have it handy. Yeah, so colour is back in my life again. And now I'll just give you a quick view of what I did last year in the sketchbook. I just liked the idea of having all my drawings together in one little sketchbook for Inktober. So very similar to this year actually in what I was drawing. And it's always good fun and great to do so much drawing. Yeah, so let me know what you did for the month of October. Did you follow any art challenge? And did you enjoy my video? What do you think of my drawings? And I hope to see you again soon in one of my next videos. So take care and bye-bye.